let the Sunday doom begin. Not only is it hard to go back to school after a regular weekend, and the Sunday doom starts creeping in about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoons, it's extra hard to go back after a spring break. And it makes it even harder to mix in a Dallas card show on the final weekend of a spring break. But it is what it is. Here we are. It was a good one, and it's more of the same for me. The modern exodus continues. With Luka's exit, it's freed up some bigger cards for me to liquidate, and most of that money has gone back into the family, but I did pick up a couple things to show you. But it wasn't just Luka's that I liquidated and moved. It was more stuff, more modern basketball, and let's just get right into it. So before the show started, I made a deal with a guy I've made prior deals with. He buys for alt, so he's generally one of the first people I check with if I have a few cards to move. And we did a pretty nice size deal in which I moved 10 cards. This gold vinyl Travis Kelce 2018, this Contenders cracked ice on-card auto out of 24 Tyreek Hill, this 2013 triple threads Deion Sanders patch auto. While I do have a Deion PC, I decided to move this because it's not game used. The patch is not game used, even though it's from Topps Triple Threads, and generally Topps has game used, but it just says authentic memorabilia on the front, and on the back it has that not from any specific game, season, whatever line that is on the back of manufactured patches. So moved that, and then I jumped off a bunch of Jalen Green and Jalen Brunson. Got off the Kaboom, Jalen Green, the red choice, Jalen Green, the true red, the blue ice. Jalen Green is a young, super young, talented player leading the Rockets, who are in second place in the West. And while I probably wouldn't have given up on him this early, it's just part of my strategy right now is to get out of all this ultra modern stuff. And the timing was nice because really the most liquid available time to sell basketball, football, or baseball is right before the playoffs start. A month or two, 6 weeks before the playoffs start. A lot of people like to wait until right when the playoffs are starting, but I find that the liquidity is actually better to move stuff about a month before that. So moved all of those Jalen Greens, moved a couple big Jalen Brunsons, the blue ice and the blue. Worked off a good comp on this Jalen Brunson blue ice. One just did 19, so I was 85% of that. And then yesterday, one ended at 13, so it worked out. Sometimes that works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. But he's hurt right now. He's got like a pretty severe ankle sprain, so it was good to move those cards when I moved them. And then the last piece in this deal was this 2008 Bowman Chrome Derrick Rose autograph rookie refractor. It's out of 50. It's a pop one. It's a great card. It's a sticker auto. Just time to move on. Although it's not ultra modern, it didn't really fit in my collection. I got about 85% of where I was into it, so it made sense to move it. This all happened on Friday. I met my friend Drew on Friday. He cashed me out, put all that money back into the family account. But it was just good. You know, sometimes it's when the Dallas show rolls around, it's an opportunity to cash out of some stuff and get actual cash, which, you know, has its own unique value as opposed to receiving electronic payment or any of that stuff. You don't have to ship it. Typically, you know, you can just tuck that cash away, and it's nice. So moved that big lot. Saturday got here, went with the crew, me, Keaton, Steve, Brendan, a couple of their friends. And then I grinded. I just looked and I sold a couple things on Saturday, but I really didn't make any pickups until trade night. Like I went the entire Saturday at the show and didn't pick up a thing. I did move a box of just misses, absolute like duds. There were some Rangers like Ronald Guzman first Bowmans. There was a bunch of Rogneto Doors. There was an Ezekiel Duran. There was a DJ LeMahieu base first Bowman rookie auto. What else was in there? There was a George Springer Finest PSA 9 rookie auto. Really just a bunch of stuff that I scooped up, put in a box, and I was like, I'm not coming home with this, come what may. And it took me about 5 minutes to dump it. And I found one of the, I think it was Card Sharks that bought it. And he gave me $300 for the whole box. He's going to probably make money on that, but I didn't care. I wanted out of it. I did not want to carry that box around. I didn't want to keep staring at those cards in my collection. So I just liquidated them. And so off we went. It was a good start to the show. And then nothing really happened. I typically would show you some of the cards that I saw at the show, but I'm going to cut that part out of the video this time just for time's sake and get straight into the next deal that I made. So the next deal was we set up at trade night up in the main part of the lobby, and within about 30 minutes, I had a pretty big deal worked out. So I moved this 2018 Optic Checkerboard Luka. It's a Pop 5. So that went out the door along with this Fast Break Blue color match PSA 10. Both of those went out the door, got cashed out for those. And so I had a little bit of cash to use at the show, but I brought back most of that and put it back into the family account. So as I'm making this modern exodus, I'm taking probably 80% of the funds and just putting them back into the family, because that's just kind of where we're at and it's what I want to do, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I was able to pick up a few things. I made a couple trades, added a little cash, and picked up a few things that I'll show you here in just a second. I did get to hang out with Radicards. So I don't know if you remember, if you watch my channel much, maybe you don't, maybe this is your first video to see of mine, but there's a guy named Patrick from Radicards, Radicards. He's just a YouTuber with extensive knowledge. We're talking like Rain Man level card knowledge. And so he picks up these great cards that he finds in value boxes or in showcases that don't cost a ton of money, but they have significant value hobby-wise. And he has a channel and he makes videos, generally like I do, recapping his Dallas card show experience. He lives in Dallas. And his videos are fascinating if you're a card junkie. So go check him out. It's at Radicards. But anyway, he was hanging out at trade night, and so we started to conversate a little bit, and we ended up hanging out for about 2 hours, just walking around, looking, talking cards. So it was pretty cool to be able to do that. And I ended up making a deal on in trade night with him that I'll show you. Not with him, but he and I both purchased some cards from the same dealer. So sometimes you can, if you're with a friend or whatever and you both have a couple cards that you want from one dealer, it makes sense to work it as one purchase, because typically the more you buy, the better deal you're going to get. So if you can combine your cards that you're going to pick up into one deal, typically you'll get a better deal. So here's what I picked up with Patrick. I picked up this 99 Finest Gold Refractor of Sammy Sosa. So this continues the gold 99 Finest Gold run that I have. I have Deion Sanders. I have a Ken Griffey Jr. I think I have a couple others, but I added this. This is nice. These deckled edges, they're out of 100. I'm not a humongous Sammy Sosa guy, but he was a significant player, and he hit 609 home runs. And so even though he maybe cheated, maybe had a cork bat, maybe he had a little help with the juice, that doesn't bother me when it's these 90s rare parallels like this. And I also picked up, so the gold, the 99 Finest Gold is one of my favorites, and so is the 98 Showcase, Flair Showcase Rose Zero Legacy. This is the same as my Randy Moss rookie card that I have. And I have an Alex Rodriguez. I think I have a Pudge out of this set, but this is also out of 100. This is a PSA 7. I'm cool with the PSA 7. I'd prefer a PSA 8, but you just don't find these. These are super rare, hard to find, and so I picked this up. And sticking with the Sosa theme, I added this. This is a 99 Upper Deck Player's Choice, and Prime Choice. Patrick was explaining the significance of this card, and I pulled this. It was in a top loader when I bought it, and I was pulling it out, and I just was kind of looking the surface and the corners over, and he looked over at me. He goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just checking to make sure there's nothing wrong with it." And he goes, "That's not what you do with that type of card." He said, "That's such a rare card. Condition doesn't matter." He was almost offended that I would pull it out and look it over before I bought it. It was really cheap, like $70. So I tucked it back in the pity sleeve, and I tucked it back down into the top loader, and I waited till I got home to look it over, and it looks pretty sharp. I mean, I don't think it would gem, but there's nothing wrong with it. So it was just funny the way he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" So that was essentially the first day for me. So it was the sale before the show. It was getting rid of the bulk early, and then it was liquidating those two Lucas at the beginning of trade night, and then picking up these Sammy Sosas at the end of trade night. I knew there was a card in the room that I wanted, and I had talked to the guy briefly on Friday night about getting it. So I had this working in the back of my mind. He was not at the show on Saturday, but I knew he would be there on Sunday. So I kind of stayed patient and waited. And when I went in on Sunday, he was the first table that I went to, and within probably 5 minutes, I had the card in hand, and we had a deal worked out. And so let me show you what I gave first for this. I gave this 1997 Metal Universe Kobe Bryant Gem Mint 10. Now, the appeal on this card is that it's very condition sensitive, and this is, I think the pop is in the 50s on this. So in a PSA 10, this does about 1,300. So I included this, and the reason, this is a 90s parallel rare card that kind of fits the direction I'm going in, but I don't necessarily want to be in 10s. I prefer to be in 8s in this stuff. So this helped me get, a partial way to the card that I acquired. So I didn't have any problem moving that. I also moved this 2020 Optic Anthony Edwards Hollow autograph, rookie autograph. It's PSA 9. I think there's 8 10s. I moved this. I have 2 ants. I have a true blue prism that I'm going to keep. And I had this. And I moved this one just because I didn't want 2 Anthony Edwards. I wanted to have 1 nice Anthony Edwards rookie. So I kept the true blue PSA 10 and moved this. I had picked this one up probably a year and a half ago, and I probably made about $500 on it. So it was cool while I had it. Definitely was good to make a little money on it. But I included both of those cards and a little cash to get me all the way to this. Ready? This. So when Luka left, it was just confirmation that, you know, the only Maverick that any of us Mavs fans needs to collect from here on out is this guy, Dirk. This is the 98 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor, and it's just gorgeous. It's got the cracked ice design. How's this coming through on the camera? It's got the cracked ice design. It's out of 100. This is 46 out of 100. It's a pop 10. You know, Bowman's Best is by no means Topps Chrome, but this Atomic Parallel is, you know, it was the precursor to the cracked ice. And so this is a very meaningful and important card. And to have this in a 10 for Dirk is just... it's just fun for me. Hold on, let me see if I can get this out of its case so I can show you the sparkle in all its glory. It's super clean and it's just gorgeous. And like I said, with Luka leaving town, it just you never know. It just makes what Dirk was able to do, which is stay in one town for 21 seasons, stay until he delivered a championship, and then ride off into the sunset. Let's see, how do I want this to go? I'll do this here. Let's see. Yeah. It just doesn't happen, you know. What Dirk did in giving us his whole career, and he had chances to demand a trade or to not work as hard as he possibly humanly could to justify his contract and to justify the team keeping him around. But he wanted to win here in Dallas, and he did. And so yeah, moving Lucas to get a nice Dirk, I would do it every single day. And then lastly, just a couple fun things. Pick this up. This was not terribly expensive, like $200. It's a 98 Bowman's Best Jason Williams Refractor Rookie and a PSA 9. There is only 1 10, maybe 3 10s. I checked the pop count, which, by the way, Radicards says pop counts are a scheme, that they don't matter. I disagree, but that's one of the very few things I disagree with him on. Because when you only have 1 or 2 10s, it makes the 9s much more coveted, I think. And so that's kind of where I was with this. You don't see this card a ton. I like to PCJ Will, so I did add that. And then finally, I added this. And I had been looking for one of these at around comps. Wasn't able to find it. I think there's a handful of these graded, like less than 10. There's a couple a couple 8s, maybe a 9, maybe a 10, and a couple 7s, and that's it. So this is a card that's numbered out of 100. It's the 2006 Ultra Platinum Medallion Kobe. And I like this design so much that when I decided I couldn't find the Kobe I wanted, I went out and got a Jason Terry. This was probably last week, maybe 2 weekends ago. I couldn't find it, so I just picked up this Jason Terry version of it. And then I saw this at the show, and I was like, well, there it is. There's the Kobe in an 8. He was at comps. It made all the sense in the world, so I just snagged it. So I've got 2 of these. These remind me of the Headliners. I don't know if you guys remember the Headliners. I'll try to find a pic here. But they were it was a Fleer, I believe it was a Fleer set baseball cards, and it had like newspaper theme background. And I always loved those cards, and that's what this design reminds me of. So it was good to see. This was just kind of a last. We were about to leave the show. We were circling the Twilight room one more time, and I found this. So that was pretty cool. So it was a good show. It was a fun show. Sold a lot. The Luka collection is dwindling for sure. I'll show you what I have left. But let me show you first what I picked up all together in one picture here. Make sure you can see all this. With the highlight being the Dirk. There is the Premium Choice Sosa. All right, so let me put all this stuff away and I'll show you. I still have a pretty sizable Luka bag, although it is, like I said, it is dwindling. So here we are. We have the 2018 Courtside Silver. Love this card. This would be a sad day when I have to move this, but I probably will. Also have the Optic Holo Classic, just a classic rookie for Luka. This thing, man, this has a comp recently that just absolutely crushes this card. It was doing about 1,800, and there's a comp out right now at like 800. And this happened after the trade. So I don't know if it was just Mosaic that, you know, it was a best offer too. It wasn't an auction. Somebody just took an awful best offer that really hurts the value of this card. Although I probably, if I went to move it, would not. I would pretend like that didn't exist because, I mean, all it takes is one dummy who's eager to get off of something, and that's all it takes to really hurt a card. Still have the blue Contenders Optic Auto out of 9.5. Still have the white sparkle. There was some interest in this, although the comps are a little bit weird. This is a tough one to move. It's unnumbered. Of course, people that know what it is know it's a big card, but there's a bunch of authentic sales of this card. So at about half of where I want to be on this. And there's no 10s. This is the only, this is the highest grade. There's some BGS 9s, PSA 9s, this SGC 9, but no 10s. This is one of the ones I might just forever hold. I don't know. It's either this one or this one. And I'm sure I'll end up holding both of these till the very end. But I'll probably only end up with one Luka to have in my collection. These will probably be the last two, though, that I have to choose between. But, yep, there you go. It was a great show. Back to school tomorrow. And it's going to come quick. 5 in the morning is going to be here before you know it. But it was fun. It definitely was fun. So thanks for hanging out. This was a quick one. Appreciate it. I'll keep you posted on any moves that I have from here on out, and we'll update you on the next Dallas show that I attend. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Radicards. It was fun to hang out with you on Saturday night. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you later.